So if you're being challenged right now, just know that there's a version of you on the other side of this, after walking away from everything that isn't serving you, that is in high vibration alignment, that has everything that you've ever dreamed of. There's a version of you that's moving toward victory, that's guided by spirit. And that's the version of you that's being born right now, through difficulty, through trial and tribulation. And as a person who's been going through it for basically my entire life, but especially the last 5-10 years, I can say that any victories I've had have come from this difficulty, from learning how to survive and surrender, learning how to thrive even in the chaos. Thank you. It's important to remember that everything you're going through is really to create the best version of you, and it's not a punishment. Angels and guides, please guide us through this message and get us the messages we need. Wow. The Fool era is all about starting over. Okay, some of you guys might have been guided to leave a partner, a business, a house, a town, a country, a family. Not your children, mind you, but like, you know, your adult family members. And it's because you're being taken somewhere new. You're being taken to all the other fellow weirdos who are going to get you. Okay, whether you identify as a weirdo or not isn't really the point. I do. And I've definitely never felt like I fit in, even with my blood family, all right? I have memories of being like 4 or 5 and having my siblings build walls out of cereal boxes to hide from me because I would apparently just kind of stare at them awkwardly. And I know now it's because I'm an alien. I was just like studying the humans at my table. Like, who the hell are these people and what am I doing here? And they would make fun of me, and it was very hard. It was hard. I felt like an outsider even in my own family. So some of you guys might understand. You're being taken somewhere safer, but you're on an adventure. And you know what? Thank you so much. Yeah, you're a weirdo. I'm a weirdo too. And you know what? Weirdos are the best. We're the ones that are creating the new world. We're the ones envisioning all of this into being. And when we risk everything and just go all into our dreams like I'm doing, everybody's going to think we're crazy. But when we get where we're going, when we're celebrating, then they're going to be like, oh, that person wasn't crazy. That person was a visionary. There's a fucking difference. Your wishes are coming true, all right? This is a wish fulfillment card. I'm getting goosebumps. Just know that your wishes aren't going to come true if you don't go all in on them. You can't have wish fulfillment if you don't actually invest in it, okay? It's not just going to fall into your lap, contrary to popular belief. Yes, things can fall into your lap, but that's after a lot of work. You know, when people say that they blew up overnight or they became an overnight success, the person who succeeded knows that it wasn't an overnight. It was something that they poured into consistently with regularity. And then eventually it hit big. To everyone else, it seemed like an overnight success. You have to pour into these cups in order to have your dreams come true. You have to invest. Yeah, the Page of Swords is all about pursuing your dreams, learning new things, investigating, I'm hearing. Learning doesn't necessarily have to be linear, like book learning, like this way that we think about it. It could be just exploring your own consciousness. It could be trying something new, like going live on TikTok, you know, just doing. I went live on Instagram a few minutes ago. I've never done that before. It wasn't very fun. I probably won't do it again, but my point is, now I know, you know, I'm trying new things. You've got to put yourself out there. Are you freaking serious? Look at these cards we have already. You're the Empress, y'all. You guys have power, and you're making it. Okay, wow, this is a powerful message. Some of you guys are being guided to leave where you are to go here, but some of you are stuck in fear and you're resisting the process. And you're in this case, you're going to rob yourself of this moment of being. The Empress is essentially like the epitome of wealth, grace, embodiment, power, courage, everything, wisdom, everything you can imagine that a person can embody, the Empress embodies. It doesn't necessarily have to do with being a woman or having a feminine energy so much as it has to do with being balanced, having all of the tools rather. So forget about tarot. In life, you have all the tools necessary to do everything you need to do. And you're ultimately meant to sit on the throne. You're ultimately meant to lead and guide, okay? This is not for everyone. I'm getting goosebumps though, so I know some of you are here. So, yeah, some of you guys need to speak your truth. Some of you guys are here, but you just don't know that you're special. You still think that you're normal and average, and maybe you're hanging around with a lot of normal, average people, and it's making you feel like what you have to offer is like meager in comparison to who you are. You're like, I'm just a knight. I'm over here. No big deal. But you're actually royalty. The thing is, you're not going to really uncover this or unlock this until you start pouring into yourself. So go all in on your dreams, okay? If that involves quitting a business to go all in, do it. I've done it. I wouldn't tell you to do it if I hadn't already done it, all right? I've done it. I fucking know. And it was a business, too, that I built. And it was lucrative as fuck. And I still did it. All right, angels and guides, what do we need to know? Wow. Queen of Wands with the Seven of Cups and the Six of Swords with the the world. So, like I just said, boss energy, all right? See how we have another person sitting on a throne. Some of you all are feminine energies, but some of you guys are learning how to balance the two. We're all learning that. Confirmation verb. You guys are really fiery, passionate. You could be very good looking or have a lot of charisma or something that makes you stand out. You also might have an affinity for cats or be somebody who values boundaries, and maybe you don't let everybody near you. Maybe you are very protective of your space. And I am that way. I used to be like a dog, just like let everyone come in and I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't really have a lot of self-respect. And now I'm a cat. I'm like, if I know you and trust you, you can rub my belly, you can do whatever. But until I have that trust, no, you don't get to come near me. And so I think this is about showing you that you're worthy of being protected is the word I want to use. Not just by spirit, but by yourself. Protect yourself. Okay, like a cat. Cats just don't let anybody come up and pet them. And you know, you're like a cat. You're not common folk, okay? Some of you guys came from common folk roots. I mean, I came from seriously nothing. I talk about it all the time because it's important for you to know. I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out at 14. I'm self-made. Everything I built from the ground up with no help. I never had the kind of mom or parent I could borrow money from or go back and live with. My mom lived with me. My mom borrowed money from me. You know, I was homeless at barely 15. Like, everything I've done on my own, with God, of course. But my point is, I had to fight for this, okay? And I had to fight for this vision of my life, of myself, of my embodiment even. Because I was surrounded by a lot of other people that didn't treat me well. I had to walk away from all of them to treat myself well, and that's why I'm having a glow up. That's why. I invested. I went all in. It's not for the faint of heart, trust me. But the work we're doing isn't just for us. And that's why Spirit's got me working so hard for the collective, because it's not just about, this isn't a business. If I was just going to run a business, my Airbnb management business was lucrative and I barely had to do anything. Kind of like the dream business. You make, 6 figures a year, and I was on call, but I only worked 10 hours a week. I'm not even kidding. And maybe not even that. And I walked away from that, okay? To step into the unknown, to take a gamble. Because I feel like on the other side of this gamble is a life that I couldn't even have possibly imagined. It's not just a means to an end. This is about us creating a new reality. The world is all about a new reality. We're creating a new reality into existence by embodying something new, by being brave enough to try something different, by being willing to sacrifice things to become the version of us that we want to become. And we can't become that version when we're still surrounded by people that treat us like shit, when we're still treating ourselves like shit, or when we're letting everyone have access to our energy. Okay, your energy is precious and it deserves to be protected. Okay, this was in reverse, so I just feel like some of you guys just don't realize how many options you have. You're gonna have. You have them already. It's just a matter of unlocking them. It's a matter of unlocking your consciousness. Because a lot of times, so say you've had a really fucked up life, like me, and this is the lens you see the world through. So you grow up, you're born, you come out, your lens is wide open, clean. But then some shit happens to you, you know what I mean? Some poverty, some challenges, some betrayals, some grief, some trauma. And then there's all these layers of like film and dust and crap on the way that you see the world. And then eventually you start to create scenarios that aren't even there into being because you're so used to seeing the world that way. And so it's important to just know that we have to clear the decks of all that old paradigm energy, and especially if it's actual people that are telling us we're not good enough. Some of us were surrounded by those people growing up, and some of them are still in our lives. And if they are, that's not okay with me. The universe is trying to balance things out and take you somewhere safer. You got 6-6 here. This represents a refugee in a boat being taken by a guide somewhere safer. This represents a gift being given, balancing the scales. This could represent inner child healing, which is a huge part of this journey of ascension. We have to go back and reparent our inner child. A lot of us didn't have good parenting, or maybe we lost a parent or some kind of traumatic event happened, even if we had a really happy home. But, you know, divorce for people that had two parents, I didn't, so I never experienced that. I'm sure it was difficult. You know, to me, it would have been great to have two parents in the first place, but we take what we can get. And my point is that trauma is relative. Just because what I might consider not traumatic, because my life was so insanely over the top traumatic, someone else was like a huge deal. If you had a stable home and then suddenly got ripped apart, that would be difficult. I never had a stable home. So to me, you know, I was raised in chaos. And some of you guys have been in chaos for a long time. Especially if you've been raised in it, it just becomes normal. You're like, oh, this is normal. Cool, I'm gonna hang out with this toxic person that's disrespecting me. I'm gonna be around this other toxic person who's projecting on me. You know, don't stay in those situations, all right? You're better than that. Honor your emotions. You got the Emperor now too. They're in reverse. I just feel like some Six of Wands. Wow. Some of you guys just don't understand that this cycle is supposed to end. You're not meant to stay in the reversal of all of these, of feeling uncelebrated, of feeling like you're not powerful. You are so powerful. The 3 cards in succession, this is insane, especially on top of the Empress. So now you have the Emperor and the Empress. Power couple vibes, okay? And it's not even so much about couples as it is about teamwork. I'm hearing you guys are going to collaborate with some really brilliant minds once you start recognizing that you're a brilliant mind as well. Other people are going to see your value when you see your value. Other people are going to treat you the way you want to be treated when you treat yourself the way you want to be treated. So it's time to level up the way you see yourself in the world. It's time to honor yourself, pour into your cup, honor your emotions, and recognize that everything you do has an impact. Every decision you make, especially for yourself, has an impact. Don't let things slip by, okay? Right now is a time, if you know something's not for you, don't put it off. Don't wait. Oh, I'm going to wait until this because X, Y, and Z. There's going to be a sense of freedom, I'm hearing, and just cutting it off now. You know what I mean? So if you have somebody in your life, for example, that doesn't really honor you the way you deserve to be honored, say, for example, you just went through something difficult and they don't really want to talk about what that difficult thing was. They're just worried about themselves and whatever they need from you. That's not a person that you need in your life, okay? And it doesn't matter what their excuse is. If people aren't treating you with respect, if people aren't showing up for you when you need them, it's still about them, or they can't, you know what I mean? We have to honor ourselves.